We're here. We're here. Hey, look, we're getting better at this. Okay, we have a studio and everything. It's another night here with American Nacho. Okay, we're just gonna. We got to talk about the news. We got to talk about Simone. We got to talk about Musk and their
Based
apology tour.
Miles, bro.
True. With my co-host here, Mr. OpX.
So
Um, yeah, so we're just gonna jump right into some stuff, but we're doing this every Wednesday at 9:30. Okay, we're gonna be square. We're gonna be here on time, sort of. I think I was 2 minutes late today.
it's all right. I'll come out of your check.
We're getting better though. We're getting, you know what I mean. I've got some stuff in the works. We're gonna fix the our little studio here up. I'm gonna get some of my cool graphics like I had for OBS, and then we're gonna get them for the studio stream as well, so we can kind of do this. Plus, we can bring on guests and do cool stuff. So, but the main things we're gonna be talking about Simone Biles. We got to touch on a little bit. I know I'm late on Simone Biles and on Elon Musk's apologies, but you know, just just had to do it, man. It's good. We can't take our foot off the gas. We have to keep making fun of these people. I saw Simone getting dragged uh, all over X, all over TikTok, and it was so good to see. Let me see if I can get some of this up. So I don't know if I have her original tweet, but basically she was making excuses for, calling out Riley Gaines for rightfully questioning men in women's sports and basically calling Riley Gaines a bully and she's a fifth place athlete or something like this. So, and then she started getting dragged by especially black, female athletes and other like black mothers and stuff like that. And it just started compounding and piling up over and over. And she had to come out and do a little apology tour. I'm trying to see if I can find her original tweet. Let me see if it pops up if I just do them both.
I think I have it.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, you're truly sick. All this campaigning because you lost a race, straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe. Maybe a transgender category in all sports, but instead you bully them. One thing is for sure, no one in sports is safe with you around, which is garbage. Okay.
Because standing up for yourself is bullying.
Exactly. It's no matter what happens,
Get in the
they're all
kitchen, Riley.
they're always the victims, dude. It never ends, man. No matter what happens, no matter how many, trans people are just out here trouncing all over, women and dunking on people's daughters, it's uh it's always our fault for calling it out. So, you know.
If my son can't
So
steamroll your daughter on the soccer field, it's not fair.
so they were going back and forth and it was kind of awesome, dude. It was like they were just firing shots. And then there was like a super cut that I had. Here we are. Yeah, yeah. This is what I was looking for. In case you're wondering, Simone Biles is still getting dragged on TikTok. I almost feel bad for her. Yeah, so this was going around, and then she caved and apologized, and I think this was all yesterday. Kind of funny, both her and Elon apologized yesterday. Let me see if we can get the full screen action on this.
They must both be on the Epstein list. They got their marching orders.
Can't see the
Okay,
chat
time to apologize. Bro, I opened
That was my favorite part because then everybody was just sharing like the worst pictures of Simone Biles, and she was getting so triggered. It was like comments disabled, not replying, muted.
what is she thinking, dude? I mean, what are you talking about? Like, she wouldn't be mad if a dude just came and cleaned out her entire category.
Yeah.
Stop pretending.
Well, and the whole, most sports were never segregated necessarily by gender. It was just the fact, like, even I think currently the NBA, the NFL, whatever, all the major league sports, Major League Baseball too, they don't have any specific rule in the rule book or rule set that says women can't compete.
Right, because
They've
why would
just
you need that?
right. You don't even need it. They're just not going to make the cut. They're not going to compete. They're not going to be competing at the same level as all the rest of these athletes. So they never had to put it in. And then we had to create their set of sports for them so that they could actually compete. So they could actually get, traction and still have fun and do the sports and do all these things. So it's just so everybody knows that it's wrong. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
It's not something that even really needs to be brought to this level of, academic intellectualization of, studies show that, the body after so many years of, if you take hormones and the bones, and it's just like, dude, they're stronger, they're faster, they hit harder. We should be separate. And
Yeah.
the funny thing is that the feminists that vote for all of this stuff, some of the same feminists that voted in all of these policies are now the same ones that are, crying about it. But it's all based on the policy that they voted in. It's all based on the party that they support that ushered all this stuff in. So it's like,
Right.
Gonna have your cake and eat it too. Let's see what some of these other ladies were saying here. Why is she whispering to me? Their trophy. Yeah, she was getting dragged on TikTok. It's so good to see. Disappointed. Mm. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. They were just trolling her. Feels bad, dude. I wanted to see if we could see some of the people. There was a handful of people like, like I stand with Simone.
Of
Yeah,
course.
trans rights. Let me see what this one is. Oh, this is the recap.
I only see Twitter there. Excuse me, X.
Oh wait, has none of this been on the thing the whole time?
No.
Based. I'm such a good streamer, dude.
Yep.
Is the audio at least coming through? Or was it?
Yeah, audio, yeah.
Okay. That's funny. All of those, I like scrolling through posts.
Jeez, yeah, that's brutal.
Epic, dude. We're professionals here. Oh, here we go.
The transgender pitcher wins the state championship. Here's an image of that. This is in Minnesota. So these are the type of things that Tim Walz in Minnesota support. So then Riley Gaines makes a post. Also, before I get into this, I also find it interesting that the other team in the championship didn't even score a run. Now let's go to Riley's post.
Damn.
Riley said, comments off, LOL. To be expected when your star player is a boy. Then under that, she says, girls sports in 2025, a 6-0 shutout by a dude named Marissa, backed 100% by Minnesota Democrats. So then Simone Biles comes out of nowhere.
Crazy,
like
dude.
nowhere and says,
Yeah, see, that's what I was missing. Like the original, I got this tweet, and then
yeah.
I didn't see the original. I saw the original one.
Some
but I
hill to
didn't-
die on, Simone. Holy shit.
Yeah.
this. At Riley Gaines, you're truly sick.
Especially
All
as a
this
woman.
campaigning because you lost the race. Straight up sore
I don't
loser.
get it.
You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue.
It does just show you, though. It shows you how equipped these machines really are, though. Like how much pressure they're able to put on these athletes and these actors and these influencers to say this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're receiving enormous amounts of pressure to constantly be pushing this stupid agenda that's in their own worst interest. You know what I mean? But they're receiving pressure from all sides to push this agenda anyways.
The thing for Simone Biles too is like her class and her sport gymnastics is kind of insulated, right? Like I don't know if it would make much of a difference if a guy came and did gymnastics and competed as a girl, because it's not so much about the brute strength, it's more about how you manipulate your body, right? So that's more of it. So it's easy for her to say because it would never affect her.
Yeah, I mean, they'd still be able to basically do their thing. Yeah, she's pretty insulated from all that, but it's just that whole machine still has a lot of money behind it, has a lot of grease, and it's just because I just fear that because Trump is in office and that people are seeing a little bit of shift in the culture, they're going to get comfortable and they're going to be like, I don't really need to say anything anymore. I don't need to be involved. And so it feels like we're taking this, step forward, but really it's the same thing that Republicans have been doing for the last,
they've always done,
40 years or whatever, which is basically just pump the brakes. They don't actually undo any of the terrible policy or the culture, like propagandizing. They just they don't go and put their own propaganda back into the media sphere. They just kind of rebut what's out there and they hit the brakes on all the crazy policy, and then they just leave it at that, and they hope that they can survive. But then obviously more progressive policy gets pushed, culture gets pushed, and then they just cling on to whatever little bit they can.
Well, conservatism, I think, has a history of being reactionary too, and that's kind of the people don't typically in that position think about, well, what is best for society? What's the world that I envision?
Yeah.
That's the classic progressive conservative dynamic. So what you end up with, especially here in the US where, we have the Constitution and all these values that are centered around freedom, is more like a reactionary, minimalistic conservatism.
Let's see here. Switch this around. All right, let's see what else.
Trans feel safe in sports. Maybe a transgender category in all sports.
He's going to give us
but
the
instead,
2-minute
you believe
recap, which is
one
perfect.
thing's for sure is no one in sports is safe with you around. Then after that, Simone Biles went on to say, bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male, which was a massive swing and a miss for a multitude of reasons. One, Riley Gaines is like 5'5", probably 130 to 140. It's not really a manly size. Second off, it completely and ignorantly ignores the physiological differences between men and women. There are differences. There is a reason why we have men's sports and women's sports. Even in gymnastics, if you had men and each other, she was making not have the reality reputation that are.
Right, I guess that was the recap. But yeah, I was just surprised to see also how many likes she got on the post and like views, attention she was getting on the post, in spite of how much she was getting dragged on other platforms. I was like, that's what my takeaway was more like, I can't believe that there's still this many people, that support this shit. Like, it's easy to forget. Yeah, like this guy. This guy is the worst. This Evan Loves Worf guy.
Oh
You
my
ever see his
god!
stuff?
I was
Oh my
actually
God.
making a meme about him earlier.
Yeah, he's like, Simone Biles took a break and returned to win 4 gold medals. Riley Gaines lost to 4 other women and then quit swimming forever. She literally quit when things got hard.
Yeah, says the soy boy that's never done anything competitive in his life.
I know, dude.
Wow, you would know,
People
buddy.
are the worst.
Tell me about the Bible while you're at it.
What is this?
Because it helps with gymnastics and it teaches younger girls to love their bodies as well. I think I've learned to love my muscles a lot more than when I was younger. I got made fun of for my arms a lot. Some people would say like mean things. They used to call me like a soldier. At the time, it didn't make me feel the best, so I wore sweaters or jackets all year long. Now I show off my arms all the time.
I don't care.
Healthy body image.
Yeah, they were like, what happened to this Simone Biles?
Seriously.
Feels bad, dude.
I have to send you something. This is a draft that I'm sitting on. I forgot about it.
Yeah, she was getting cooked, dude. And then Riley, being already kind of in the sphere, immediately gets to go on like Fox News and just like wreck her some more. And I'm glad, honestly. I was afraid that like whenever she apologized, that Riley Gaines was going to come out and be like, yeah, whatever, like take it easy on her. But she just kind of like doubled down. She was just like, yeah, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I was like, good. That's what we need. So we all need to be doing.
Simone Biles had a moment of elitism. That's
Yeah.
what happened there. Oh, I got all these gold medals, and here's this loser talking.
Yeah.
Let me just come out with the contrary narrative here. And then she's like, wait a minute. Did I think about that? Did you see the tweet?
Yeah, I saw it.
I haven't posted it yet.
Let's see what she said on Fox News.
And I'll tell you, this past weekend I'll actually take you back. This happened on Friday night. So typically, I travel all the time. I'm all over the place, but I was home this weekend. I was so excited.
Okay,
Typically, I turn my phone off on the weekends. I spend time with my husband, my animals. Friday afternoon, get a notification on my phone. It says Simone Biles tagged you in something on X. I was like overwhelmed with excitement. Like, this is someone I've looked up to. She's a role model for me. Like, was so excited about this until I clicked on the notification. And of course, I had to read it like 5 times, click on the profile back, click on the profile, make sure it wasn't a fake profile. This was the real Simone Biles. And lo and behold, it was. As you mentioned, it has been the talk of X, really all social platforms. TikTok,
that happens to
Instagram,
me every time I get tagged by
every
Elon
article
Musk.
that has been posted. If you read the comments,
He needs to
Simone
chill
Biles
out,
is
dude.
getting
Well, then I just get
railed,
scammed
and then I believe she
by
truthfully
Indians, and I
incinerated her legacy
get
with
sad,
just 2 tweets this past weekend. And I'll tell you, this past week.
Yeah, I was glad to see it, dude. I think she had something else that she posted today after her apology. Let's see what the apology was.
Yeah, let's read this because it's kind of glorious that she finally apologized too.
Yeah, she had to do it. Had to do it, man. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Are we okay? Yeah, we're still to make sure I had it on the right screen. I wanted to follow up from my last tweets. I've always believed competitive equity and inclusion are both essential in sport. The current system does not adequately balance these important principles, which often lead to frustration and heated exchanges. And it didn't help for me to get personal with Riley, which I apologize for. These are sensitive, complicated issues that I truly don't have the answers or solutions to, but I believe it starts with empathy and respect. I was not advocating for policies or that compromise fairness in sports. My objection is to be singling out children for public scrutiny in ways that feel personal and harmful. Individual athletes, especially kids, should never be the focus of criticism of criticism of a flawed system, and they have no control over. I believe sports organizations have a responsibility to come up with rules supporting inclusion while maintaining fair competition. We all want a future in the sport that's fair, inclusive, blah blah blah. XO. Yeah. The whole thing though is basically just like, well, I didn't know. Like, I'm not actually advocating for a policy, which is funny because she even says in there, like, well, the current system doesn't adequately balance. Like, I don't know what she say. I truly don't have the answers or solutions to like. So then, what the fuck? Why even bother? Why are you going to jump in and antagonize this person then? Because unironically, Riley Gaines is trying to help fix this. Like if Troons want to go make a separate category for themselves to compete in, they should just do that. They should be the ones advocating, though. It's not women's jobs to find a home for these vagabonds that just showed up and tried to invade their sport. Like it's their job to defend their own, the whatever you want to call it, the sanctity of their sport or whatever. It's their job to defend that, not to find you a home because you don't have anywhere to go. Like, and you just decided this is where you should be.
I think sports peaked during the Roman Empire. Pretty sure they took it from the Etruscans, but that was like the peak, dude. Just fucking kidnap some random from another place,
throw them in the Colosseum,
drag their ass to the Coliseum. Who cares? Nobody asked what fucking gender you are. We'll worry about
nobody cares about your legacy. Yeah, we'll find out how good you are, if you can survive this night. Yeah, and then my objection is to be singling out children for public scrutiny in ways that feel personal and harmful. Like they have to be singled out, and it's not to say, at least always, it's not always to say like, oh, it's this person's fault, they're a problem, blah blah blah, and let's attack this young athlete or whatever. It should be the school district, but it should be the school district and the larger like governing body that says, hey, we're just not even going to allow this. That's the best way to protect the kids. The best way to protect the kids from being in the spotlight would be to never allow them to join the women's team so that there's nothing to worry about. There's not going to be any public outcry if they're never on the team in the first place. So, man, what an idiot, dude. It's funny, too. She hasn't tweeted about anything else either. So,
didn't Riley Gaines also didn't she also win some titles at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what she did, honestly. Dude, I thought she was a surfer at first when she started getting popular again. You remember the surfer that got her arm bit off by a shark or something like that? That's who I thought she was at first.
That's funny.
A couple years ago.
It's kind of cringe that Simone attacked her for losing to 4 other women and attacking Leah, blah, 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 blah. But she was like a 12-time NCAA All-American. She won some titles or something. 5 SEC titles, a silver medal at the NCAA championships another year or something like that. So, I mean, she's done a fair amount of winning.
Yeah.
It's kind of absurd to me too, because this is collegiate swimming, isn't it, that we're talking about? So there's scholarship money on the line. Why is someone allowed to just cross? It's not like high school sports. So, maybe people are getting scholarships to swim. It's like, okay, there's a financial incentive. Did no one think about that? Like, how unfair is that, dude?
Right.
There could be women out there who lost out on scholarships because they wanted to fucking put somebody like Leah Thomas on the swim team.
Yeah. Yep. That's my main problem with it. Like, if you as a school, like I said, the governing body of the school or the colleges or whatever want to start offering trans athlete scholarships or something, and you want to make a separate division for trans athletes, go for it. I honestly think it would be sort of entertaining. It could be pretty good, dude. I would watch. I'd want to see what's going on.
Gender pay gap bad unless I want to swim with the women in college.
Let's see.
I need scholarship money. Never mind.
This is probably unrelated, but now it's piqued my interest. You see what this is.
Absurd from top to bottom, saying there should be a gender neutral Olympics. Are you serious?
Madness.
Do you also believe, Blossom, that we should combine the Paralympics and the Olympics? I would love to hear an answer to that.
Okay, I'll ask her. Bring back Blossom. Blossom, should we combine the
You had her muted. I
Paralympics with the
remember
regular
this.
Olympics? Have them all compete with each other?
I mean, why not? And to go
There we
back to
go.
Riley's
Yeah,
point to
why
that
not?
last
Yeah.
point.
You are.
Oh,
You
yeah.
And that's these people definitely need to be publicly ostracized and bullied. I mean, these types of people, adults with these terrible ideas, definitely need to be, dragged through the streets publicly, trounced.
There's something to
flogged,
be,
verbally.
There's something to be said about the character of a person who hears over and over and over that their ideas suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they know their ideas suck, and they know that their ideas are going to earn them hate, and they know that they're going to damage things, but then they still just stand by it. It's evil,
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing about that even attempts to be fair.
Yeah, and I like her athletics things here, whatever this athletic brand. XY athletics.
The truth fits.
Epic, dude. Epic. Oh, let's see what I never saw this. Let's see this one, and then we'll move on to the second apology of the day, yesterday, which is Elon.
Right, creating a
when we talk about an equitable solution to the issue of trans athletes, is there a solution that you think exists out there? Because it doesn't seem like there is one.
It's a good point you bring up, and it's something Simone mentioned in her initial tweet, right? Creating a third category almost. I'll tell you, I initially supported this idea. I believe this was a way to prioritize inclusion, but not at the expense of safety, number one, and fairness, number two. But I'll tell you when I changed my mind. This was done. FINA, the International Governing Body of Swimming, created a third category for people like Leah Thomas or those who are identified as trans, gender non-conforming, non-binary, whatever it is, a separate category for that. No one.
Let me guess, they
competed
didn't
in it.
participate?
Actually, Thomas
Yep.
went on to sue World Aquatics for this new rule, ultimately making the point that he doesn't want to compete if he can't trample on women in the process here.
At that point, you got to go.
To sports, to have a category based on identity. We don't have a category based on identity, any other identity, right? We don't have a category based on race, and we absolutely shouldn't. We don't have a category based on religion, and we absolutely shouldn't. Sports aren't about your feelings, ultimately. At the end of the day, they're just not. Anyone can play sports. That's the beauty of sports. That's why I love them. It's really this unifying experience that, again, I got to be a part of, that I got to.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I kind of caught it right as she was like getting there. I'm like, oh yeah, nobody participated.
Well,
what a shocker.
This is what I would say, bro. If they're really adamant about wanting to swim, or they want to compete in women's sports, right? They could compete at a capacity that has no consequence on the outcome, right? You can't get medals. You're there. You're there as an exhibit, like an exhibition match, and that's it. Like, so you're not gonna go join a baseball team. You know what I mean? You're not gonna go join a basketball team. But if you wanted to swim in a relay, if you wanted to run at a track meet, you could do it in a capacity that doesn't have any consequence, or you could run in the transgender category if you're really that convinced, but you can't. I mean, you can't go there and strip medals and scholarship money away from people who might not have any opportunities otherwise,
Yeah. Yep. All right, let me get a couple of these up here too, because these were juicy. Yeah, the Trump versus Musk thing is kind of crazy out of left field too. I'm not convinced that they're like. I'm trying to figure out what the underlying like motive, like what the hell happened to Musk, dude. Like I believe some of it has to do with the spending, and I think the spending is, getting outrageous, and it is a problem. I just don't believe that's Musk's underlying motivation in this case, because I honestly I don't think he actually gives a shit.
No.
He said like several times that his main motivating factor for everything that he does is getting to Mars. That's supposedly his, from his own mouth. Everything that he does is with the goal of getting to Mars. And I think it's starting to become more clear that, like, at first I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a noble idea. This is chill. Let's get getting humanity multiplanetary and getting humanity to Mars, and start terraforming. Like, that seems like a noble cause until you start to realize that he means at any cost. So
yeah,
he doesn't give a shit what it takes to get there. He just wants to get there. And I think, honestly, my personal conspiracy or whatever or psychoanalysis on Musk is that, because he's also said several times he basically believes that we're living in a simulation. So I think he thinks that when we get to Mars, there's going to be like confetti that blows up out of and he gets to unlock the next level of reality or something like this, and he's going to get to level up, so to speak, in this game or simulation that we're in. I unironically think that. I think he fucking believes that, dude. Because it doesn't make any. Because he's just like willing to go at any cost. Like he's not tied to any nation, and he has nothing. He's not religious. He's not. He just wants to get to Mars. So, and he's willing to do anything, take any of the money, any of the backroom deals.
Well, it's funny because in that sense he's very progressive.
Yeah. He would adopt, if this was if he thought a progressive president was a better shoe-in or whatever, I'm sure he would have been backing them too. I don't think he gives a shit, like one way or the other. I'll take that back. I think he does care specifically because of the culture stuff surrounding like his son that he says like died to the woke mind virus or whatever. he seems to actually care about that, but
he cares to the same extent that every other Democrat that's in the Republican Party now cares.
yeah,
because he sees the reality that Democrats are just destructive.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to the Democrat Party.
Yeah, it's gotten pretty crazy. Which is why I was so surprised to see this. It seemed like it was like out of left field. It was just out of nowhere. I'm trying to see if I can find his original tweet. Yeah. Yeah, the easiest way to save billions money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars to terminate Elon's government subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised Biden didn't do it. Yeah, and he says basically that he even told him ahead of time that this was going to happen, and he just kind of ignored it. We need Elon Musk's original tweet. And he's just been posting like crazy too. I think he's trying to like drown it out of his own feed.
Yep.
He's like, "Oh, nothing happened.
Trump's Epstein.
Nothing happened. Forget about it. I tweeted. It was the greatest tweet." Dude, have you seen any of his gaming stuff? By the way, just a random aside. Everybody says that basically, like based off of the game, whatever game this is, it's like he's like grinding for like the #1 spot, and they're basically saying there's no way you could do this and be, you know, 100 billionaire running multiple companies. So either you're doing a really shitty job as the CEO of all these companies because you're grinding out this game so hard, or you're just paying someone to do it, which is like either way, it's both kind of gay. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna take ages to find it on his Twitter feed, because he's just been spamming. But I think the original one was like about killing the bill and something, and then it immediately just turned into like Donald Trump is a detriment, and then he went to Epstein's Island and all this other, which it says so much more about you. You know what I mean? If you're saying that, that Trump, was involved with Epstein, and that he, maybe was at the island, and the reason he doesn't want to release the Epstein files is because he was there. And you're saying this as though like it, because he's like, bookmark this, it'll come out. That looks worse on you, because you had your kids around him, you're hanging out with him, you're just like attached at the hip to this guy, you're all in on this guy, you're donating $100 million to his campaign, all this other stuff, and then you knew this the whole time and didn't say anything about it, if it's true. So, and then if it was really true, I mean, the left would have already gotten a hold of this without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, this would have been out in 2020 as just like the nail in the coffin to make sure, especially like after J6, they would have just dropped the nuke and just buried him completely. So, well, I'm sure. And actually, you know what's funny? I think I actually was, I didn't get to read it all the way, but there was like a article. Somebody was talking about that Trump was actually one of the only people that cooperated with authorities when they started investigating him before Trump even ran for president. This was like in early or late 2000, like 10 or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 2010 and 2016. There were like journalists and then like investigators who were trying to, piece together, or put together a case with Epstein And he just basically was like, yeah, I mean, there was some weird stuff going on. I'll cooperate, whatever. Gave them everything they needed. And, but everybody else basically, obviously, who was involved, was silent. So I think if they had anything on Trump, it would have been out by now. So.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they got close.
Yeah.
But maybe there's nothing there. Like they got close to getting dirt on him, like in their own minds.
Yeah. It just seems too good to be left out. I guess it just seems like if there was even a little bit, they would have already dropped this,
Yeah.
Plus, we all voted for Trump, okay? Musk, you little shit. I didn't vote for you.
Yep.
I wonder if I probably scrolled past it.
I mean, Musk is not like, it's not exactly conservative. Like he's more on the progressive side.
Yeah, they're all like that. I mean, there's a lot of people who have like jumped into the conservative camp, and unfortunately, the Republicans are sort of adopted this like open tent sort of policy coming into the election. Sorry, I was distracted. Can you look into the McMinn battle of 1946? No. Maybe eventually. But
of 1946?
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of frustrating watching the RNC this election cycle coming in, because it was like I'm not voting for any of that. I'm voting to stop all of that. And it was like porn stars on stage giving speeches, Indians praying to fucking demonic gods, people speaking in other languages, speeches at the RNC. It's just like gays and trans. And I'm just like, what are we doing, dude? Like, what are we winning, if we're giving everything up to get here? Oh, but we're going to have a good economy or something. But also, we're going to trans your kids too. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah. Here we go. No, that was my post. Never mind. That's a good one though. So we're not finding the original Elon tweet, but this is basically the whole thing. But another thing that bothered me about this whole thing is that, Trump let Elon off pretty easy whenever we were coming into the election cycle. And this kind of segues into let's go Insurrection Watch for like the last 30 minutes or something. But he was going off on the immigration stuff, him and Vivek and all that stuff, right? And he was basically saying, oh yeah, and I'll die on this hill and go fuck yourself in the face and all the shit that he was saying, right? And Trump basically let it slide, because I think Trump, obviously, he's campaigning on being hard on immigration and all this other stuff. And then here Elon Musk is like, yeah, we need H-1Bs to like basically legally replace all of you lazy ass Americans. Everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Dude, we need reinforcements for the Helicopter.
Like, what are you talking about, dude? And that's what I mean by, him being willing to get there by any means possible. Like, he does not give a shit if he destroys nations.
It's Empire Building 101.
Yeah, on the way there. He just wants to get to Mars so he can like unlock the checkpoint or whatever the fuck he thinks is going to happen. And Trump let him off easy by not saying anything about it, but I wish he would have said something. But obviously he was trying to get elected, and this was all like leading up to the election. But Elon was getting dragged all over Twitter And so was Vivek. And Vivek got kicked from the campaign basically because of it. Like, he got relegated to
That was
whatever.
so funny, dude. Everybody loved him until the H-1B thing, and they're just like, "Yeah, fuck this guy."
Because it's just so stupid, and even like the most, the dumbest. It's like the thing where like like where the bell curve overlaps or whatever. The stupid meme where it's like the fucking the retards that are on like the 20 IQ side, and the high IQ, 150 IQ are always saying the same thing. And it's like, everyone can see that the immigration is a terrible idea. Like, hordes of illegal immigration and hordes of legal immigration are both going to be bad. Rob, Andrew, and not at the same time. I hate you so much.
The thing about
they only get one day, so.
The thing about that's so dangerous, though, is that through both of these methods, and this is where the contention comes from, and this is why it's gotten so blurred, both of those policies benefit Democrats. Because naturally, the people who are coming over legally on H-1B visas because we're just trying to reinforce the Hellet class, those people are going to come here with limited civics knowledge, limited American history knowledge. That's one thing, very small. But then they're also going to resent any sentiment that questions immigration because they benefited from the immigration policies. And that naturally is going to force them into a favorable disposition towards the Democrat Party. So all this shady shit that the Democrats doing with illegals and illegals, that benefits the Democrats, because then they can go out there and posture and do this and that because they're the ones helping the
Yeah.
And if they're bringing all these hordes of them in, whether or not it's hurting the American people doesn't matter once they get here.
Arresting people.
Hold on, let me get these queued up. Up like a bunch of times.
It's fully charged.
There we go.
Oh boy.
Yeah, baby.
Look at all that peace, dude. Nobody has bills to pay. Everybody's super financially responsible. So like they've all got emergency funds that they're drawing from so they can be out here all day long. Everybody's got like 849 credit scores. They're paying all their bills during this time. Didn't miss a thing.
Yeah.
No need for Soros to pay them.
Well, have you seen?
They got it locked down.
Have you seen? Have you seen the? I mean, if it wasn't Soros, now it's openly the Walmart heiress. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw that.
God, dude.
And I don't even think she cares about the movement. I think she's just triggered about something Trump said.
Well, most of them, yeah. That's the crazy thing. Hold on, somebody's trying to help me.
But I mean, Republicans should be taking advantage of this type of stuff, like where people, Soros wants to send money, whatever. I mean, anything that they're doing like that, whatever. Republicans have to learn to be fucking ruthless.
Yeah,
we should be trying to drain their wallets. If they come out here and they're paying these protesters, go out there and sell them 1 million Mexican flags marked up 10x and get that money out of their pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything and everything you can think of to starve the movement and disperse it and just literally just take it out.
It's so sickening, dude. That's and this right here, it's so funny too. Like, this is like the cherry on top, of that Elon stuff too, because this is exactly what people were talking about. This is exactly what people were telling him. They were like, at what point, if you just keep importing, the world into your nation, at what point does it cease to become the nation that it was to begin with? If you're, because it's not simple to like define, it seems simple to like define defining a nation or a country or people, whatever, on paper. But the reality is there's a lot of things that play into it, and demographics are certainly one of them. And it's okay for the people to question whether or not huge demographic shifts from people all around the world are going to affect the outcome of the nation at large, in the future. And people were rightfully so. We're questioning all of this stuff. And Elon's like, "Oh, you guys are just lazy, and there's not qualified people, and it was all bullshit."
Yeah.
The idea that the funniest thing of that coming from Elon is that he was part of the kicking off this wave of firings for all these social media companies. When he fired, like, I don't know how many, like 11,000 employees from X or whatever it was, Twitter at the time, all the other social media companies followed suit. So then, because he was taking all the heat for it, but behind the scenes, or out of the, mainstream media coverage, Facebook quietly fired 9,000 people from Meta or something crazy like this. And then I think 2 other major social media companies or tech companies did the same thing. So not only do you have tons of college age Americans graduating into these positions looking for jobs as software engineers and developers and programmers, but now you have 30,000 potentially already qualified employees or former employees from your own company, as well as just candidates in this field, all qualified with job experience in the field already looking for work. So this idea that we need to import coders and programmers from India or wherever is just a load of shit. There's the reality of it. It was what it turned out to be was that they are hiring, or they're posting these jobs on the H1 in order to get an H-1B visa in the first place. They have to post a job for a certain period of time, and it has to be basically ignored. So they post these jobs that are supposed to be, $104,000 a year starting, because the kids out of college are coming out of college with $250,000 of student loan debt, and they need to be able to pay this off. So the jobs, and plus the skill, required for the job. So it should be paying like $104,000 a year to start as like an engineer or something like this. They list the jobs for $60,000 or something like this, $70,000. So of course they get ignored. And then they come back later and they apply for H-1B visa, and then they bump the pay up to maybe like $80,000 or something. So it's still attractive enough to get them to take the job and come over here and, leave their families behind or whatever. But it's still ultimately just using cheap labor, to cut overhead.
Yeah.
Or
$80,000 today is not the same as it was in the 90s or in the 80s too.
Absolutely not. So yeah, hordes of illegals
is the guy still here that wanted to talk about the McGinn riot? Not the McGinn riot.
McGinn battle
McGinn
in 1946.
Yeah. The Battle of Athens.
Yeah, what is that?
They were using a fee system for the sheriff. So deputies were paid by the arrest. And then there was, obviously that leads to corruption.
I can't look it up right now, okay? Maybe we can in a second.
It got really bad.
Let me actually get a glass of wine first.
There was a violent confrontation.
All right,
sheriff resigned. I think why do you think it's relevant today, though? Like specifically to this, why do you think it's relevant?
gotta get some water, dude, man. Oh my gosh. I'm so exhausted, dude. I've been working out again. My whole body is just tired.
Yeah. So anyway, the revolt or the whatever, the battle involved a lot of World War II vets who lived in McGinn County.
Yeah.
But it's not. I mean, I don't know if he was trying to draw a comparison to this because this is nothing even remotely similar.
Well, he's saying is lost to history and very relevant today. I don't know. Oh yeah, he's bringing fentanyl into the ingredient. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's so many things that are wrong with. Obviously, like with illegal immigration, it's crazy to see the kinds of things. Like, I don't understand how you're even. How are they justifying any of this? Like, you're mad because the state is doing its job, protecting you. Like, the state isn't deporting illegals because it's just like fun or something, and so we can make memes. It's like it's for you. They're a burden to the system.
They're not really mad about that.
The latest reports are, and that's the funny thing. All this stupid. Oh yeah, we should do some insurrection scrolling, dude. We should see some of the posts they were making about this. It's just so crazy.
Can I see the chat from the studio, or is that somewhere else?
You should be able to. It should be on the side, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Andrew and Rob are streaming, so there's a lot of overlap there. It's going to be a quiet one tonight,
but they don't really care about that. You know, they don't care about the illegal immigration one. They care about the fact that what's happening hurts their party.
Yeah, that's the sad part.
So it's coming from the top down, obviously, and then people take their marching orders and they do what they think they're supposed to.
Yeah. Right, let's do this real quick. Let's, how am I going to do this? Because it's doing just this tab. I have to do it this way. All right. Because this is what I wanted to do too. I had a lot of these saved. I got them in different places, so we'll have to bounce around. But and the LA Insurrection tab has just become like, it's just become. What even is it now? It's like LA, New York, Texas, Chicago now too.
I mean, it's inevitably going to happen in Chicago, so you might as well add it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and add Seattle.
Yeah.
Add Minneapolis.
We'll just do leftist insurrection. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, this was going crazy earlier. I was just spamming posts into this folder because I was like, man, I don't even have time to look at all these right now. I was at work. Oh yeah, this was a classic. I don't know if you saw this one earlier.
I don't support the war machine. Big insurrection guy. Yeah, I support January 6th. You fucking ignorant motherfucker. Yeah, so again, We don't support the Zionist war machine. I don't support the fact that you were in Syria helping steal Syrian oil. I don't support that. No.
I don't even know if this is the clip.
I'm anti-war.
These reactions, bro.
I know.
They've literally never heard anything like this before. They're just like.
But you guys are understanding my point. These people who are fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan, we send them in where?
Oh, there's such a better one. There's such a better clip of this guy. He's like talking about I know it's in this folder, dude. It's probably earlier in here. But he's like, yeah, we don't want to work beside you, legal or illegal. We don't want to work beside arrogant fucking Mexicans who are speaking another language and waving a flag of another country. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Oh, we went too far.
I think that's a good point, Latin. Because all these things that happen on the large scale, on the national level, there's little isolated things that happen at the local level. I see what you're saying. It's like the stuff we were talking about with Leah Thomas later.
Yeah.
NCAA is a big organization, but it's not a pro sports organization. It's not a political body. It's an independent organization with a board that might resemble that of a county.
Yeah. Which is what I would
people and then maybe the budget that they deal with,
Yeah, which is the whole my whole attitude right now is the whole kind of we can't all these little tiny issues are adding up to this massive issue. And so letting any of this shit and letting them get away with anything is going to be a problem.
Exactly. The small things matter.
And I'm glad that he's sending the it's funny because they're like, whoa, because the response this time was actually pretty quick. The response to all of this was pretty fast. What is his damn name? Hegseth was responding to this or tweeting about this within 48 hours or something. And talking about sending the troops in and all this stuff, and then now they're sending troops in, and people are like, "Well, but blah blah blah." And we're not going to let it get to where it got in 2020. You know what I mean? We're not going to wait to see what happens. We've already seen what happens. So no, there isn't going to be a well.
Yeah,
but
they need that
we
leader.
had it under control. No, you never had it. First of all, you didn't have it under control because we can see it. And then second of all, we know how this is going to play out because we know you've already done it once.
When they say that they were in control, they mean that they were in control.
Yeah, just
not in the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah.
No, you don't understand. We're in control. We're trying to make a movement. We're trying to start some shit.
Let me explain.
Oh, this is the one I think. This was a good one.
But I think he knew. I think they knew also. They knew that they weren't handling it, and that's part of their plan. So they can scapegoat Trump.
Yeah.
Don't talk about how destructive and retarded these people are. No, talk about how Trump is the bad guy again. Let's run that strategy back because it worked so well.
Yeah, and they're literally saying that kind of stuff. They're like, oh, every time this guy gets in office, there's riots and blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, you're doing it. It's like, hey, look, it's literally just gaslighting. I mean, that's
their whole playbook.
That's really all it is you're acting like a crazy person every time that, because Trump is in office. And then you're like, yeah, every time he's in office, the whole country just goes to shit. It's like, well, yeah, stop acting like crazy people.
Yep.
That's what we want. We want that. We want talk. Yes, we do. We don't want to work with people like you in there. That's what we don't want. Yeah. We don't.
Fuck it, dude. Go for it.
Yeah. Let me explain. We don't want to work with arrogant No, we don't. No, we don't.
What's wrong with that?
100%, dude.
You fucked up. You meant to say Spanish.
Oh yeah, this
Yes,
lady
it
just
will
starts
help
screaming
American workers,
narcissist.
yes.
It will help the definition of a narcissist.
So
You need to talk to your father.
so you can't acknowledge
Awesome.
You need to talk to your father. It's the best response. It's the best response.
But going back to that other thing earlier, we were talking about this probably off stream at some point, and people are starting to have this conversation more. But the idea of localizing, focusing locally, there can be a national body, so to speak, but all the energy should be focused locally in the meantime. Like, nobody does anything until it's time to vote for president. People don't even vote for their senators. They don't even know who their reps are. That's a question on the civics test for citizenship. People and Americans, so people trying to immigrate here, they have to know this.
Yeah.
People that live here don't even know. You ask them who's your rep, they don't even know.
Yeah.
So focusing locally on what's happening right around you is so important, and not enough people do that. And Republicans would do so much better to focus locally, because there's a lot of bullshit to sniff out. And you're not going to sniff it out at the national level, but you probably will at the local level. And somebody will find a piece of yarn that will lead to the yarn ball.
Yeah. Yeah, and all of this, and that's the funny thing about this too. Most of this, none of this seems, and I don't think it's been this way for a while. The more that I learn about politics and history and the political history of the country and the influence of the CIA and different things like that, or protests have not been organic for hundreds of years, possibly even from the beginning of, from what it seems like in history class, even the revolution against the king was funded. They had backers, they had big money, they had propaganda. How were they able to do that? That wasn't just an organic uprising. Because on the other side of that, there were the was it the Federalist Papers, or I don't think that's it. I don't think that's right. There was another answer basically to the Declaration of Independence or whatever, to like kick off the civil or the Revolutionary War. There was another group of people, which was the majority of the people living in the lands, who also signed a document basically pledging allegiance to the king. And so where did they get all this funding from? And I think for ages, since the founding of the nation, most of the protests have been inorganic. They've been synthetic and heavily funded by whatever the powers that be.
Which that's kind of going to be a function of oligarchic structuring of society, which is like that is how society has been structured since we've had civilizations. Like there's no way around it. But in reality though,
did you see this?
Paying protesters should be in the same category as treason. Now I want to see that. I was going to ask you to play it.
The Sam Tripoli predicting the LA riots or whatever. This was going all over Twitter today.
We're in the Bolshevik war right now, bro. And right now what's coming up is all the pride stuff is going to be okay.
And he said this 2 years ago.
We're in the Bolshevik war right now, bro. And right now what's coming up is all the pride stuff is going to be okay. So I had this woman come on my podcast. Her name's Mel K. She goes, I've been talking to some people in the intelligence, and they go, this gay pride stuff is going away. And the next thing you're going to see are immigration riots. This is going to be right around the next election. So hand to God, we do this episode. Next day, Starbucks is like, we're banning all the pride stuff. And now you start seeing these they're putting little breadcrumbs out, man. Little breadcrumbs. Oh, I saw this one thing in Chicago. Oh, yeah, illegal immigrants are upset about where they're staying. And these illegal immigrants who speak no English are holding up perfectly written English signs saying we're tired of how we're being treated. And now you're starting to see this over and over again. Eric, so everyone's always like when all these Republican governors are like sending these immigrants all over the country, everyone's like, yeah, you're showing those Democrats. Bro, they're moving assets. I know it sounds crazy, but that is 100 what do
you mean they're moving assets? What do you mean?
Dude, these guys coming into the country, bro, have you seen them? A lot of them are Chinese, and a lot of them are military-age people. Too. And I'm telling you, they're moving, and this is what's going to be right around 2024 election. Immigration riots, people going nuts, and it as listen to this, and you'll start seeing all the little breadcrumbs. I'm telling you, that's what they want you to think.
You're buying it.
Oh, I thought
they're moving assets, bro.
You're the puppet.
They're moving assets.
What do you mean, like military people?
Dude, study the Bolshevik War. It is happening in real time. 100%. But I just wanted to get that out to everybody because I'm trying to warn people. This is what's next.
The global elite.
It's kind of crazy, dude. He's pretty spot on, dude.
Yeah, but who is he saying is moving assets?
Well, and he's saying like China, and well, definitely China, because we've seen that on the border. Like we've seen.
So China and Russia, or some foreign actor, is manipulating U.S. politics to move their assets around.
Yeah, to kind of get people into the country, sleepers.
I can see how they would do it. I can see how
it's easy enough. I mean,
that's
if you look at it from their perspective, like
it's in line with intelligence operations.
Yeah, and we're so like cocky, like we're so, or not even cocky is the right word. We're just stupid. Like we just have so many stupid people in this country that are like, yeah, just let them in. They're people too. They deserve to. I mean, right now we have people that are saying this crap, that are like telling like all these dumbass libertarians on X, talking about this is our time to stand up. I'm like, stand up for what? What are you talking about?
Right, but.
And they're defending this shit, and so from a foreign, from our enemy's perspective, it's like, well, hey, if these dumbasses are going to open their borders, let's send our people in. Basically,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, you see the spy movies, and they have to be able to make fake passports, and they got to be able to get the right seals on them. They got to know the secret watermark stuff. But who needs to do that shit anymore? Just send them through fucking South America.
Yeah.
You don't need to do any of that anymore. Latin, I'm not saying the immigrants themselves or the illegal immigrants themselves. I'm saying like who is actually moving those assets, who's manipulating all those things, like what country or what body, what organization.
Yeah. Well, and for that's just as many.
That's why it's confusing. Like, who would it be if he's comparing it to the Bolsheviks,
Well, and I think also for just as many, like, dipshit, I hate Trump billionaires that there are, like Soros and the likes, to fund all this stuff. There's also foreign money, because China and Russia, potentially have just as much interest to see us disintegrate ourselves from the inside out. Yeah. So I'm sure there's plenty of money that they're willing to put up in order to fund protests and different things like this. So.
Yeah, I mean, you have intelligence money, you have private money.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's corporate money.
That's the problem too, is that, I have heart, okay? I do care about people. I'm a Christian. I care about the well-being of other people. But it's like, if we were to take these stupid leftist ideas to their logical conclusion or to the most absurd position, and we were just to literally say, like, let's bring in, okay, all right, everybody just gets citizenship. Everybody who can make it in here, we just make them citizens, because now they're just going to become tax-paying citizens. They're going to be upstanding citizens. They're going to work hard. Let's grant that that's even true to begin with, which I don't think it is. And they're not just going to succubus off the system. They would be like a succubus on the system. But so we let all these people in. Well, we're going to bankrupt the country doing that. So we're already in debt. We're already in debt, trillions of dollars, borrowing from our future, selves. Now we're going to pay all this taxpayer money. We're going to spend all this money to invite all these people in, displacing, our own citizens. And we're essentially just going to these people would be okay with the country going bankrupt in a week or 2 weeks, as long as it meant the entire world gets citizenship, and we can bring in all the starving people from Africa and South America and wherever they want to come in from. It's just insane. Like, I don't think they really are thinking it through. And it's,
well, they're not. I mean,
scary.
it's a Gnostic effort, coming from, it's a pseudo religious, spiritual, virtue signaling type of motivation, where the interest is not in whether or not they're actually successful. It's about how good they can look online and to their friends. After I say all this stuff, I'll go ahead and get my septum piercing, and then I'll really be in.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, here's some more crazies.
That a piece of paper, I don't care if somebody has their papers or not. I don't care if they're hardworking or not. I don't care if they immigrated here legally or not. You will never be able to convince me that a piece of paper is more valuable than a person's life. You'll never be able to convince me that a piece of...
See, that's the thing. These people are acting as though we're like camping these people. We're just like exterminating them or something. Nobody's dying. What are you saying? It's going to be more valuable than a person's life. Nobody's killing immigrants. We're not killing anybody. They just have to go home.
It's not fair. Next question. Life's not fair. Get over it.
Oh my gosh, dude. What is a better way to do this? Oh, here we go. I can just do this. Yeah. Does that work? Yeah, that works. Oh, God. Anyways.
Paper is justification for throwing somebody in a cage, denying them food and water, tearing them apart from their family, and then deporting them. That's sick. Oh, well, the criminals, the legal way, the this and that. The legal way? You know what's happening when people are showing up to their court hearings, the mandated court hearings, when they do it the legal way? They're getting detained and deported, okay? And you want to talk...
That's always good. Yeah, I mean, first of all, good, yeah. But that's always the way it's happened. It's no different. They did the same thing under Obama. They did the same thing under Biden. They did the same thing under Bush. They did the same thing under Clinton. Clinton actually has outperformed both Biden and Obama and Trump's current numbers. Obama's currently outperforming Trump's numbers. Like, the numbers are terrible, actually.
And he plays tenor sax.
And he plays tenor sax. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, when they were getting, carted away by ICE agents, he was like serenading them on their way back home.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Talk about criminals. Look who's in the White House. Okay, let's talk about that. And then, the benefits, and they take all of this and they do all of that. Undocumented people can't get benefits. You know who gets the most benefits in this country? The people running it. Okay? Every single time that a working class person gets mad at another immigrant, a billionaire throws a celebration on their yacht. Okay? Minute that you start caring more about what a piece of paper says than somebody's life is the minute that I stop caring about what you have to think.
They keep saying this like their life is going to end because they can't live here. Like it's just not, they're just not living in reality. And the thing is too is that so many of these people, especially like this fucking Weasley nasally bastard, I guarantee you he lives in a very nice affluent neighborhood far away. Yeah, far away from all of these enclaves, like, because that's the biggest problem with the illegal immigration. The illegal immigration is so much worse than, I mean, I think the legal immigration needs to be stopped as well. You know what I mean? I'm like, stop everything for like 15 years. Let's just put a damn stop on this. Let's get our shit in order and then resume. But even if we allow the legal immigration, the illegal immigration is so much worse than that. Because they don't assimilate with society, like intentionally. And by the nature of the fact, so they already do that when they're legal, right? But then when they're illegal, it's like exacerbated. It's exponentially worse because they know they're illegal, so they're more prone to, kind of hiding under the table, taking work for cash, kind of not learning the language because they're not necessarily going out, they're not integrating with society because they're not becoming a part. They're afraid to go out, essentially. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it compounds. It makes it so much worse. And so now we just essentially have, these little enclaves that are, it's just the beginnings of balkanization, and which is obviously terrible. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, what would eventually happen is they'll eventually settle. They don't have any of our values. They don't have any of our even historical knowledge. They there's no interest in the integrity of the United States and adherence to constitutionalism and all that. There's none of that, right?
Yeah, they know nothing.
But it's obviously a subversive tactic, and anything like that the left has been using to help themselves should be completely, while we have this opportunity, should be completely shut down. I think I agree. Like, just shut it all the way down. Don't bring it back until we've cut that off for the left, because it's like, if anything that they're using to skirt around having to actually participate in the marketplace of ideas in a way that in a manner where they don't have some kind of unfair advantage should be completely stripped.
Trying to see if I can find this. There was one I didn't get to start watching, but I definitely wanted to react to on here. Let's see if it's in the show notes. This guy. Oh yeah, let me do this one just because I already know. I've seen this before. This is actually super old, but it started going back around again. This is that Cat Williams. He just he says it. He just says it. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be said. And it was funny. I think the context is in a larger like set or whatever. He was like getting heckled by like some Mexicans in the crowd or something, and they were kind of like talking shit, and then they like wave a flag at him. They like wave a flag at him or something, and then they were getting mad because he was like going back at him or something.
You think I'm just in Mexico and I'm defending America? Because are you Mexican? Do you know where Mexico is? No, this ain't Mexico. It used to be Mexico, and now it's Phoenix, goddammit. I bet you don't leave here and go to Mexico, mother. USA! Think they can live in this country and then still be allegiance to another country. If you love another country more than you love America, mother, then get to stepping that.
Yep.
If you love Mexico, get the over there. Oh, say can
They left. They left.
I didn't even know
you
that.
think I'm just in Mexico and
Yeah, this is a classic, man. And this is pretty old, actually, but this is another. I wonder if it's recent on my profile, but it was another funny meme I was putting up. And then, of course, I got all the J Spurgs, in the comments because of my meme. I was like, it's like Black America, why do I cry? You're getting deported.
Wait, are you Jewish?
I'm hiding my kippa right now.
Oh my god, I fucking knew it.
It's
dude.
under the headset, dude.
I fucking knew it, bro.
Look, I just like a good bagel with
You're a tiny hat.
some lox and schmear, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then this guy, Hoodservative, I like him. He's a funny guy. Black fascist toxic male. We go way, way back, man. We were doing panels like when I first started on YouTube, dude. Like before the, J6 and all that shit. It's crazy. Paid off, not paid off. Damn cat. Even if the USA have all Mexican lands back there. That's a funny thing too, is that the Mexicans didn't own that land. That was like Spanish owned Mexico. That wasn't the same Mexico that exists now. I think you were talking about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah. They only owned it for like 20 years. And they gave up. All these arguments about like Native Americans and all this, the Mexicans. Mexico owned it for like 20 years. It was Spain before that. For like hundreds of years. That's why they speak Spanish. Like they don't even have they wouldn't have the strongest claim. We owned it for what 177 years now or something after that.
Yeah.
So, if you want to do like the whole
and if we're like
land claim thing, like it's either us or Spain, so pick one.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Are we gonna give it back? You want us to give it back to Spain?
We should give it to Spain and make those fuckers learn Spanish and then take it back and make them learn English again. Fucking idiots.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Like that's the other thing too. Is like the Native Americans. There was never a confederacy even that would have had a claim to the entire landmass that was the United States. So the whole stolen land thing is bullshit. It happened over hundreds of years. Nobody fucking showed up and squatted for a year and took advantage of New York squatting laws. Nobody did that. It happened over hundreds of years, like literally any other civilization forming in the history of mankind. It was not a instantaneous process by any means.
Yeah.
It's actually quite organic when you look at how societies formed. Oh, somebody's fucking lost in the ocean. Okay, there's some land. All right, well, we might as well go there so we don't die. And now hundreds of years later, we have a country. It's like the story of literally every civilization ever.
I'm trying to find this one video that I want to see. I wonder if I sent it to you. Gosh, there was this one guy. Ah, man, I want to know where I put that. I know I bookmarked it, so I just don't think I put it in this folder. I think I put it in like weak conservatives or something. Let me see. No. God dang it. There was this guy just like whining about, oh, well, it is affecting my business now and blah, blah, blah. And
like
it's just,
right?
Yeah. And it's like these feckless fucking cowards who are like, they know what they're doing. They're in the same boat as like Elon and some of these other big, billionaire types who are just looking to cut costs. But they do this fucking like they make up all this shit to try to pretend that, oh, well, but like, yeah. And it's like, we just can't get help otherwise. And they're really like good work. They do really good work. Yeah. This fucking.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this other guy.
This fucking guy. Forget I'm on YouTube, dude. I need to rumble
I'm at a
so I can just say the F slur.
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, listen to this fucking loser, dude.
There's another one with the
It's official. ICE is affecting my business, and I'm sure a lot of people's business. I'm at a job site right now. I just hit up the guys and was like, "Hey, I thought we were all working today. We got a job to do," and they just sent me an ICE map of reported places that they're doing like random checkpoints, and they said, "Sorry, none of our crews are willing to go outside and deal with this today." So fucking, you see it on the news and you're like, whatever, and the news is exaggerating or whatever. But yeah, today it's officially affecting my business, because I got a job site and I got a ton of work to do and I got no guys to help me out. So
do it yourself.
I just thought that was
maybe try just paying people a fucking livable wage, you fucking scumbag. But ever think about that, or like hiring like 3 guys that could do twice the work and you just pay them a little bit more? Like,
yeah, because what he's probably doing is he's a contractor, right? He probably grew up in construction. He knows the job. He sends it out. He pays them nothing, and then he collects the majority of the fee he charges a customer. So he makes, thousands of dollars per job, pays them a couple $100 a piece. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, hey, look, I'm a successful businessman. If he had American workers, he'd probably make half what he makes now, still make a couple $1,000s a gig, and be fine. He just doesn't want to.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I mean, it's like, and there was another guy who did the same thing. It was like a farmer. I think I saved it, but it's so far back, I don't know where it would be at. But they were doing the same thing. They were like, well, all this crackdown on the immigrants, and it's making it so hard for us to be, to get work, and who's going to pick the plants and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, hire Americans, like pay people more than $10 an hour. I used to work in construction and do shit like this. And they would pay you $10 an hour cash, and you would either take that or a Mexican's going to do the fucking job. Whenever I did roofing, and it's bullshit. When I did painting, it was the same thing. These people just don't want to fucking pay anybody. And it's just like you're saying, they're getting contracted out for a certain amount of job, for a certain amount of money per job. And whenever they get their payout, they just, in order to keep as much as they can, they're just going to, contract out the work to these groups.
Yep.
Of illegal immigrants, and they're going to take less and that's the whole thing. That's the thing that really pisses me off, is that you're basically what you're telling people when you act like this. Hold on. Somebody's messaging me about like breaking. Let me get to it in a second. Let me finish my little mini rant here, but you're basically telling Americans that they deserve to have to live like in a slum setting. Like, you deserve less. What you have now is like a privilege, and we can just give you less. If you don't take a shit wage for this, we're going to hire in these Indians or these Mexicans or whoever, and they're going to live 18 people to a fucking household. And they're going to take a third of the wage because they're living 18 people to a household, sleeping on top of each other, piled in the fucking house, living in squalor. And that's what you need to do too, or else you're not going to have work. Like, fuck you, man. Like, fuck this guy and everybody else like him who can't take a little less off the fucking top so that you can support your countrymen. Like, I have a certain level of respect for the nations like Russia and China in the sense that, while I would disagree with probably a lot of the way they're running their countries, like, and the lack of freedoms and different things like that, maybe. But they're willing to die on the backs of their countrymen. So they're not mass importing Indians or Mexicans or anybody else. And if they were somehow extremely advantaged, and they had all these superior talents and skills to them, they're willing to lose. They're willing to just get beat because they're going to remain Chinese or they're going to remain Russian. And they're going to put all their money in betting on Russians, betting on Chinese, countrymen, betting on their countrymen and their citizens first over the rest of the world, which, you got to have a little bit of respect for that. So when you see people like this, I don't know, dude. I just want to fucking strangle this guy, honestly.
Yeah.
It's in Spokane. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's going on. Apparently there's some shit going down. Let's see what's happening.
I told you to put fucking Washington on there. I think I said Seattle, not Spokane.
It's supposed to be in this link. Hold on, let's see. Which one is it? Hold on, it's going to get crazy for a second.
Yeah, man, you going to die about it, bro.
Share my video, please share. I don't want to die, man.
What?
I don't know which one that was.
I think bottom right.
You know, you see what this guy is doing with these people. You better put that into perspective.
Top right.
Donald Trump.
No, you got it. This is the one. That was one. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, just super peaceful. I thought you were asking me because that guy sounded like a GTA character.
No, yeah, he did, though. Yeah, that was funny.
I don't want to die, man.
That was funny.
I can just tell by the way he's talking that he's there because he ate up
man.
every CNN narrative ever.
Oh, here we go. Oh, God.
We will let them go as soon as they get back to their country.
Just finish first push. Okay. Oh, shit, bro. Can we just, full screen this for a second? Oh, yeah, let's do it.
There was an ICE abduction, kidnapping in Spokane.
Listen, Avarice, I don't know what I'm doing.
It's an abduction, man.
So crazy, dude. Look at these.
I care so much.
The phenotype of these people, dude, is crazy, man. Yeah, that's the other thing, man. There's tons of teenagers. I wanted to work all the time when I was a teenager, but you can't because of the fucking labor laws. Oh my God, quality's at. What are they filming on? A fucking Motorola Razr, dude? Yeah, I want to hear some more of this GTA.
Yeah, hire high schoolers. Hire high schoolers. Give them a grade. Pay them and give them a grade.
You ain't ready to die about it, bro.
It'd be so good
if
for
you
them.
don't get on that bullhorn and say white lives matter.
But it may come to that.
You said you ain't what?
Realistic.
You said you ain't crazy.
This guy Trump wants to bring in National Guard troops and Marines.
And you going home. You gonna be going home with your boy.
Dangerous situation. These guys
So anyway,
turn
can I
their
show y'all?
rifles on us in a snap.
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing, man? Where y'all from?
Slightly below average.
Say the big
Hey,
Latinos, period. Okay?
That's funny.
Latinas. Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's the man, and then Latina is the woman. I'm so sorry. I'm so
Oh wait, this
sorry
is an
with the
old one.
politics.
This
My
is
bad,
over
you know.
already. This one's over already. Apparently. Hold on. Do we have a new? Remember, everyone in that area is filming some bandwidth. Oh yeah, true. Do we have updated streams here? By the way, thanks, Avarice. I think we have maybe updated streams here. Let's see. I think every time I copy the link, it'll update. Okay. Crazy, dude.
Honestly, like anytime they're gonna do an ICE raid, like they should just go city by city. Take whatever military apparatus you need, go city by city, conduct all the raids you need to conduct in that city, and just have enough personnel. Every time they do this stupid shit, every time they try to interfere, encircle, arrest, mass charge everybody with felonies, at least clean these fucking idiots out of the voting system. So that we don't have to be living under this squalor and idiocy of the left.
Yeah, and there was it's funny, man, because I felt like I was pretty liberal to begin with, like getting in, like before I was in politics at all, like, definitely very emotionally based, I think it's funny because I think like an older guy told me one time, made like a funny joke about if you're not liberal when you're when you're a teen, then you have no heart, and if you're still liberal when you're past out of your 20s or whatever, then you have no brain or something like this. And it's pretty true, like because I was you really don't want to do all this shit, but then you start to get older and you start to realize that really force plays a huge factor. There's a reason why like Andrew Wilson's force doctrine exploded, but it's funny that it even would explode to begin with, so to speak. Like we've forgotten that. It just shows the absolute state of, like, I don't know what you would even call it. Like, we're so far removed, we're so insulated as Americans from the world because of because of the force. That's the funny thing. It's like we're so insulated because of the amount of force that we carry, the size of the fucking stick we have, that we literally forgot that force doctrine is a thing. Like, we forgot that that's reality. That
and not only that, but I mean, how many people go to school? How many people you go to school with ended up in the military? You could probably count them on one hand, and that's the case everywhere. That's not going to be the case as you go further and further back.
Well, that's the thing, because that's the other thing, because of how much people volunteer for the military.
Yeah, but
like
think about
what I was
the
saying,
luxury of volunteering for the military. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You go further and further back, men are not being asked to serve.
Yeah.
No, they're fucking Ukraining your ass into a van.
Yeah.
And like Romans had to serve 16-year military sentences, sometimes more. Other societies, it's just like, yeah, you're a dude. You're just fucking in the military, dude. Take this spear. Don't die.
Yeah, It's crazy, man. Like it's terrifying to think about, like, especially modern warfare. Like, modern warfare is so much worse too, but you see all the things that are going on in Ukraine. You know, you see them literally kidnapping people and throwing them into vans and forcing them into, like, fighting the war. And the women and children all get to leave the country and flee the country, and the men are just forced to basically be cattle to the slaughter. Like, they're just getting sent to death.
Yep.
It seems like we don't think about it. We've gotten so comfortable. We think this is so far out of reach, and it's really not. Like, it's on the doorstep. It's right
It
around
always
the corner.
is.
It never left, I guess. You know what I mean?
So back to that historical thing.
The house just got bigger and the doorstep got a little further away, but the enemies are still waiting at the doorstep.
Right, but and that you look at an ancient empire like Rome, any ancient civilization, and we have this way of highlight reeling history. Like, we condense hundreds of years, thousands of years into like this highlight reel, right? But if you look back at the Roman Empire and you really go down that rabbit hole, there was never a time. When, like, if you go to like a history class, you learn about like the Huns and the havoc that they wreaked on the Eastern Roman Empire. Like, that area there was like a period of 70 years or something where this Roman city was uninhabited because of what the Huns did. So, and they were always fighting the tribes that become the regions that they conquered. Like, they were always a military campaign. Hannibal, like, lived in Rome for several years. Like, he was just in Italy, waging war on them, and basically, he got it to the point where he basically, for a short period, controlled southern Italy. So this idea of force being really the deciding factor, like, it's an ancient reality, but we live in a period where it's like, if this is a simulation, like a video game or something, like, this is like the secret undiscovered area of the game that's just kind of like, it's just like an Easter egg, but you can't find it until after the end credits. And that's pretty much where we live right now. That's the reality that we live in. Especially this insulated one, because, like, I was talking about this with someone else before. It's like, all these ideologies that we have, it's like, I mean, it would be hard to have these beliefs if you weren't so insulated.
Yeah, that's it's crazy. It's like you're saying, like, we literally have like the best armor in the game. Like, we have all the we have all this shit, and we're just like jumping around the map, like, looking for the most, you know what I mean? We're like you're saying, we're looking for all the Easter eggs, and like, we're just going back through and clearing all like the, getting all the achievements, all the, like, go find all these golden eggs or some shit. But it's all this dumbass shit. None of it is useful. And then we're going to have to go back into PvP, and we're not going to know how to play the fucking game because we've been doing PvE for so long. Like, we've been exploring the world and just like doing random shit for so long. Somebody's going to enter into the fucking map, and we're going to be like, oh shit, we had to fight this guy. Like, how do we use all this shit that we've accumulated? We don't even know anymore because we abandoned.
No. I know what to do. I know what to do.
Shit, dude.
Grab your megaphone, and I'm gonna make a sign.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we got this.
We'll protest at them.
Yeah,
we'll tell them how mean.
They'll be forced.
We'll explain to them how mean they're being and how they would like totally be oppressing and taking our rights.
And don't
if
fucking
they were to invade us.
Don't fucking let them use the wrong pronouns like what happened last time.
It's just because they're uneducated. We just need to educate them.
Exactly.
We actually need to invite them in, so we can educate them.
Yeah, but
And
I'm serious. If they start saying he, him before they ask what your pronouns are, you better not let them get away with it. Yeah.
Then we can
no
kill 'em.
mercy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, killing's bad.
Well, it depends on what you mean by kill. What do you mean? It depends on what you mean by mean and how. Oh my God.
You're right to defend yourself.
Hey, Data, what's up?
It's just murder.
Wait, are you saying the volume's good, or are you saying the volume? We need more volume. Oh, on the protest, we're not. I wasn't really like that.
When there's an entire planet.
Is that better?
Silence is compliance.
Okay, hold on.
Those are two different words, lady.
Let's see. Should get it updated hollow here. This is what I need. Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard because I know Andrew's usually streaming now, so all the boys are over there helping. But that's okay. We'll get there.
Yeah, man, you gonna die about it, bro.
This has to go, dude.
Bro, this is unrelated. No, I won't tell you. I'll tell you later.
This fucking guy, dude. I don't want to die, man. That's totally like a GTA moment.
Well, you will. So, spoiler alert.
Okay, let's see here. What do we got? Damn, we got the Giga feed, dude.
Peaceful. Nobody's getting paid. Nothing's getting burned. No traffic's being blocked. Everyone has complete freedom of movement. They all have permits to protest.
Oh, you know what?
You're not costing the city any money because the city doesn't need to deploy riot control. It's just an all-around good deal.
Damn, I wonder if I'm going to be able to show this. Oh, no, not Ryan Garcia an hour ago. I may have voted for Trump. Yeah, this stupid fucking idiot Spurg.
Oh.
I may have voted for Trump, but I can't stay silent about what's happening with ICE in LA. These aren't just illegals or statistics. They're people, hardworking immigrants, especially Mexicans who pay taxes, raise family, build our communities, part of the people we love. Ripping them away from their homes is not just policy, it's pain. We can have borders without losing our humanity. No, we literally can't. That's the fucking point.
That's how you get borders.
Fuck. Yes.
That's kind of the whole thing about all this.
Oh my God, dude. It's crazy, man. Oh my God. No, we can't have borders without losing our. There is a certain sense of like quote unquote inhumanity about enforcing borders, but it's for the sake of preserving our humanity. Like,
bring back tyrants.
Holy shit, dude. Honestly, they gotta go, dude. It's that simple.
Give me Putin. I don't even care.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. That's what I was trying to get at earlier. It's like I feel, or I used to feel like, oh yeah, we can't do, you can't send in like the guard, you can't send in the military, you can't do stuff like that. Even whenever Trump was talking about it in 2020, after everything was going crazy for so long, I remember even being on panels or having streams or where we talked about that, and I think I was saying something similar to that. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, like, I get it, but I wish there was a way, like, we didn't have to send in the military. Like, it does make me a little nervous, even though, like, whatever. But it's like looking back and seeing the way they gamed the whole thing out. It's like I was definitely a little more naive, when it comes to politics. And now I'm just like, yeah, no, fuck that.
Dude, DeSantis said we can run over protesters.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm buying a
Appreciate
truck.
it. Based. Yeah, and then I remember actually interviewing Owen Schroyer. I did like a quick interview with Owen Schroyer, and they had just done some. I think Ron DeSantis had just made some changes to Florida state where they could basically, the businesses could shoot, and defend their property with firearms or something like that. And it was basically to kind of discourage all the violent protests because businesses were getting looted and destroyed and burned down.
I need to open a jewelry store so I can cash in. Dude, they finally did it. They got back to Orange Hitler.
It always gets there.
Bro.
We want to talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, like they have to be getting paid. I think there's probably like an eighth of these people or less that are like organic. Probably less.
They could just be doing it like in shifts too.
Well,
that's possible.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, because I've been to this stuff, and it's the only way I was able to go to this stuff was because people donated. Like this lady, Nana, she still subscribes to the YouTube. Nana 1776 or something like this. She literally sent me money specifically so that I could go to the like MAGA rallies in DC and all this stuff. I'm like, I can't just go out and, because that's what people were like, you should go to like some of these things and like film. And I was like, I can't fucking afford to do that shit. I gotta fucking work, dude. And the only reason I was able to go is because people donated money so that I could.
And then
like,
still, you're still
go out
calling
there and
out
do
work.
that shit.
You know?
That's what I mean.
No
like,
boss is gonna like that.
Yeah. Then, so even if I could go, like, you know what I mean. Then I'm out of work. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like.
Yep.
And they were
price.
sharing
Everything
all
has
those.
a price, so who's
they were
paying
sharing
the
all
price?
those Craigslist ads of people, being paid to basically protest or whatever. Now, the younger ones, I get that makes sense because they're all college age kids. Like they just have time, and I know a lot of them are younger, but there's a lot of just middle aged people out there too that you see, and you're just like, what are you doing out here? Like, how are you out here?
All right, it's time for me to go.
All right, dude.
Have a good rest of your street.
Later, dude. At least they have American flags now. It was so bad, dude. Alright, we might We might end the stream here for now. Yeah, because it's almost 12. Yeah, we've been going, what, 2 hours? Yeah, we're done. Jeez. Craziness. Well, we'll be back at it again next Wednesday. And we'll get a little better. I'm kind of winging a lot of these. I've still got, 2 kids and a wife and a full-time job, so bear with me. We're tightening up the content, okay? So we'll have a little better layout as we get back in the groove. I wish I knew how to. I don't know how to raid, but I'm probably gonna go watch Rob stream for a little bit. Rob Noor on Rumble and on YouTube. So. Anyways, I'm out of here, dude. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch y'all next week.